What's up guys, my name is Manik and welcome back to the Python training presented by SECARMY. In the previous video we studied about variables, how to declare them, how to use them and how to call them in different kind of functions or statements. Today we'll be learning about strings. Before moving ahead to the strings, I would like to tell you about variables, or I should say that I will tell you about how to prevent the most common errors that we face through while using variables. Let me start. First I'll open the editor. Okay, so as we said, there are I declared age variable in the previous video and I just randomly gave a number which is 25.5. So while executing this statement, the print will be 25.5, which is the value for the variable. Now the most common errors are either regarding parentheses, or I should say brackets, or function brackets, or are either different spelling mistakes in the variables in the print statement, or maybe in the function that we are calling. So let's say that I can be sometimes confused with the lowercase l, that could cause an error, or the variable spelling mistakes can cause an error that might occur to us. Let's say there's an error or spelling mistakes by extra e. So when we execute them, it will always show an error. So you should prevent this by keeping check on what you enter and what you try to execute. Now, strings. I'll be teaching this in strings today. Changing cases in strings with a method, combining or concatenating strings, adding whitespace to strings with tab or new line, stripping whitespace, avoiding syntax error while using strings. Okay, strings. Strings are basically a combination of different letters, numbers, or something else that are printed in a way that it is always printed the way it is, or I should say these are basically combination of different characters that are declared and used the way it is. Let's say I use a variable name and I give it the value my name. Now I'll call the variable using this method called print, or I should say keyword. It will print the name. Now as you might have noticed, I entered my name in double inverted commas. These commas are used to declare strings, or used to identify strings. You can either use single inverted comma, and that can also be used as string. As you can see, I use single inverted comma and it is printed as it is. Now the first is changing cases in strings with methods. Let's say we have a particular paragraph to print in the Python programming, and let's say I have a statement, my name is Manik, and I have to print this entire function in uppercase or lowercase, or maybe title, which means that every initial of every word is in capital. So what I will do is call the method on the print statement, in the print statement on the variable. Let's say I have to print it in title. What I will do is write the word title and call function brackets. Now when I execute it, every initial of the string is in capitals. Now what are methods? Methods are basically keywords that are already reserved in Python programming language, that have their own particular definition, that have their own particular function. Now let's say there's a keyword called print. It is a kind of a method whose function is to print something, either statement, a formula, or either a calculation. It doesn't matter. Now there are three type of methods that are used to change cases of different strings. The first one is title, that I just showed you how to use. Now the second one is upper, Now when I execute it, the entire string is in capital format. Now upper means capitalizing every single character in entire string. Now next is lower. Let's say I have this entire string in capital format. I'll just change it. My name is Mani. The entire string is in capital format. Now when I execute it, entire string will be shown in lower format. This is the working of lower function, or I should say method. Now next is combining or concatenating strings. Combining or concatenating means basically joining two different types of strings and printing them as one. Let's say I have a variable that is name, and it includes my name string, and there's another variable, let's say last, and I'll give a value is Manik. Now I have declared this. What I would do is I will concatenate them. To concatenate different strings, all you have to do is use a plus sign. That's it. Now what's the variable name? Name plus last. Now when I execute it, it shows my name is Mani. As you might have noticed, there is no space between the character or word name and the word is. What I would do is add a string in the print statement with just a space in between it, and add another plus at the end, which means that this space is joining the variable name and is also joining the variable last at the same time. Now when I execute it, there's a space in between. So this is how you concatenate the statement. Now we used variables and strings at the same time. So as you can see, in the print statement we used variables that we declared before and a string which just contains empty space. So we are using both at the same time. Now next is adding white space to string with tab or new line. Let's say there's a paragraph and there's an essay and you have completed writing first paragraph. Now you have to move to second paragraph. What you will do is just shift the second paragraph to new line. So to do that in Python programming language, what we will use is a \n. Now let's say I have to print the second variable's string in the new line, which contains the word is Manik. What I will do is, instead of empty white space, I will enter \n. Now when I execute it, the words is Manik is printed in the next line. Similarly goes by to let's say we have created a paragraph or new paragraph, or we have shifted the words to the next line. What we will do is give a space before the paragraph to distinguish it with the previous paragraph. What we will do is add a \t, which means tab. Now when I execute it, there's a space now. So this is how you add white spaces, or I should say give a space or blank space using new line and tab keyword. Now stripping white space. Now there are some moments when you are unnecessarily giving white space, or you have given white space without any intention. Or I should say, imagine there's a web page and it has a form in it that a user is filling. Now by mistake or intentionally he gives a white space that is not needed to be stored in the database. What we will do is add a function or method that will remove the white space automatically. How we will do? We will use the strip command. Let's say let's remove all of this. Okay, let's say I have a space before the word my in the first variable. Now what we would do is use the keyword print name dot rstrip function bracket and bracket close. As you have seen, there is no space before m. Sorry, this is for the right strip. There was space. As you might have seen, the space in the string is in the left side of the string. Left side of the string. So what we will use is L strip instead of R strip. Now when we execute it, there is no space. Similarly, when there's a space in the right side, or when there is a space in the right side, we will use R strip instead of L strip. There is no space. You might not be able to see it because of the black screen, or I should say there are no text right beside it, so it might be confusing, but there is no space in actual. Now as you can see, there is a space in the both side, left and right. What we will use is simply strip. That will remove white spaces from both the sides. Now when we execute it, there is no space in the left side or right side. You might wonder, why don't we use just strip command or strip method in the first place? This is because sometimes the space is needed. Let's say the full name, or let's say there are multiple words in a paragraph, so you might need to include the space to distinguish between sentences or words. So this is how strip works. Now, avoiding syntax errors while using strings. As I said in the first place, you can either use double inverted comma or single inverted comma to declare a string. So the main problem is that let's say there's a sentence, let's say Manik's day went good. Now when I execute it, it will show an error. Why? Because I declared the string using single inverted comma and it ended here, because the apostrophe s isn't considered as string by the Python, because there are three strings now, three apostrophes. The one is here, one is here, and one is here. Now how would we avoid this error? By using the double inverted comma. Double inverted comma start, double inverted comma close. Now as you can see, this string, or I should say this inverted comma, will be considered a part of string and it will execute the way it is with apostrophe s. As you can see on the screen, there's apostrophe s present in the string while executing. So this is how strings work, and this is where I'll end the video. Before going, I have a task for you. Create a variable and store different type of string, or I should say name, and use that name in different print statements, or I should say, let's say there's a name you stored in a variable. Use that variable in a print statement to form a sentence. Let the entire sentence be in print statement, but name should be in variable also. Now second task is to change cases for that particular variable's string only, not the entire print statement. So this is where I'll end the video. If you have any kinds of doubt, you can contact me on my social handlers that you have already contained with you. So see you all later. Thank you so much for the video, and see you.